Well, good evening to you all out there. Allow me to again to introduce myself as Pastor Richard Steve Mitchell, and to give a little bit more clarity of what I'm doing and why I'm doing this. I'm also trained in public relation and media, and here are two individuals that is somewhat serving the black community to basically empower somewhat. That's definitely. We're located right now. There's a media or different public networking happening at here at different booklist located at 736, I believe, Bathurst Street here in Toronto, or it could be 746 Bathurst Street. Either 46 or 36. Check those two addresses out. There's a lot of information here that will enlighten you and bring you to a higher level insight and understanding about the black community. And again, this exhibit or public meeting going on here is to empower the black community. So here we have one from Sway Magazine. And
Pastor Gary Hibbert.
Pastor Gary Hibbert here. So, Mr. Pastor Hibbert has a book entitled How Black Can Succeed in the Americas and the Caribbean, Africa, and everywhere else. And from Sway Magazine, he's saying if you are from the black community, whether it's from the continent Africa, the Caribbean, or should I say the Americas, you could basically allow your business and organization to be marketed to the black community. So again, a few months ago, I had obtained one of Pastor Hibbert's book, and I looked at the contents and I read a little bit of it, which informed me about economical development, which again is the key component to any community striving above the mediocre level of income earners. So if we do not unite, we cannot achieve what we should achieve. As a pastor myself, I would say this: God said that wherever we place our feet, we have to call it home, in spite of how we got there. It should be through slavery or any other type of migration. We ought to claim it and capitalize on the resources that are there. So, as an individual who, again, is here in Toronto, Canada, and I'm sure that you have a spiritual background as well, tell me, how would you foster through Sway Magazine to empowering your community?
How would we do it? We do it all the time. That's what Sway is all about. Sway is all about empowering people, and how we do it is through information, through education, through business. Right? We are funded by businesses who advertise with us. That's our funding, and we try to hope that we support one another in terms of the advertising. The majority of the advertisers are from our community, and we try to encourage our community to support those advertisers, right, by distributing it in an area that our community actually goes to.
So since we're all here trying to develop and be at an economical state where the broader society will reckon with us, and the agenda is not to allow us to seek equality, but pronounce ourselves as giants within our different area of gifting. So, as you know, again, still yet we have an agenda, but still yet there are some of us in our community which have a wealth of knowledge and talent, and these individuals may not have the financial resources as others within our community do. So is there a plan or agenda or a scheme that Sway has that will foster and help rise those individuals to that level of independence?
Well, as I said before, if you read Sway, if you pick up Sway, and I hope you have read through Sway, you'll see that that is what Sway is. Sway is really discussing, talking about, including, encouraging people in our community towards excellence, and that's really what it's all about. We believe that our message is about excellence. Right? It's about inspiration.
Right.
So if you read the magazine, you'll find that to be true. We give out information that's valuable in terms of health and wellness. We do economic business. We promote books, authors, publications that are very positive to the community. We have musicians who are doing well. We have actors who are doing well. We have sports personalities. We are highlighting and informing the public about those kind of people. But our main focus is that those people have to be in Canada. That's what makes us a little bit different from most.
I would say this is an excellent communicator. I'll be back with you. To you now, Pastor Hibbert.
Do you have any of the magazines here?
So, allow me to ask you, within your book,
Boarding is at 3.
one chapter speaks about what is blackness. I think that's what it is. What is blackness? What does it mean to be black? And could you just elaborate on that chapter a little bit?
Well, basically, it really deals with the fact that black is not the color of the skin. And that many times when we think about black, it's usually referred to as skin color. What I bring out in my book is that black is a nation. And we are the only people on the earth without a national identity. We have a tribal identity, we have a country identity, and so because of that, we are divided amongst ourselves. And so even though even places where we have large communities, we're divided. Like here in Toronto, you have the Ghanaian community that doesn't really mix with the Jamaican community, and the Nigerian community that doesn't mix with the Jamaican community. And so we have pockets of black people, but we do not have a force. So we don't come together to be a financial and a political force to be reckoned with, like the Chinese, like the East Indians, who have come here. And they are a political force, they are an economic force. They provide jobs for their own people. Right? Chinese aren't dependent on other people to hire them. And when they do go into places, you get a few Chinese, next thing you know, the whole place have Chinese. Same with the Indians. The Indians go into a place, next thing you know, the whole place is full with Indians. We're the only people that don't bring up each other. Like if you get black and they getting promoted, they don't bring up other blacks with them. And so because of that lack of national consciousness that we're black, not because of skin color, but because God made us black, and because that there is a nation called the Black Nation.
So I guess you're saying that as a black community, we should put our ethnicity aside and focus. Being that
792.
I say ethnicity.
We've got to recognize that our ethnicity is black. We got to put aside country of birth. It's like the Chinese. Their ethnicity is Chinese.
No, I believe I get me. If you don't,
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But our ethnicity, we've got to see our ethnicity as being black. The word ethnic comes from ethnos, which means nation. Right. So the Chinese, no matter where they're born, they're Chinese first.
So this is what I'm saying. Within the black community, we segregate ourselves or disfranchise ourselves from the main bigger picture and create ethnicity within our own black
based on a country of birth.
Right.
Yes.
So to those individuals, what would be the best vehicle or method in lobbying all those thoughts into one body?
The best way is recognizing that whether you're born in Nigeria or Ghana or Guyana or Jamaica or Barbados, you're black. And to recognize that only we as blacks really have our best interest as well. And so when I see you, I don't see Nigeria. I see a black.
Right.
Realize that if I can't help you to prosper, then I'm not going to prosper. If you're kept down, that means I'm also kept down. So in order for me to move forward, you have to move forward as well. And we have to come into that understanding.
So again, there are individuals again who are not too apt to read it. As you know, the joke goes, if you want to hide something from a black person, what you do is you hide it in a book. So those individual who has a poor self-worth and suffering from post-traumatic slavery and lost their self-identity and basically commit self-hate crime against each other. How would your book basically bring that individual to a greater understanding of
what the book will do is bring them to the consciousness that we are a nation.
Right.
And understanding that we are a nation, that there are things that we need to do as a nation, which is restore our families, build black businesses that will employ our children, and realize that there are things that we have to do to be recognized as a nation, because we are not recognized as a nation because we don't recognize ourselves as a nation. And so that's what the book really do. They really bring us to the consciousness of nation and shows us what we need to do as a nation to be prosperous, to be as the other nations, to prosper like the other nations that have come to us.
One other question. I noticed that there's a lot of females within the house here, and it is so often, as my friend stated, or I believe you stated earlier, the female gender within our community are oftentimes more graduates than the male person.
When it comes to education, 70% are women. When it comes to the church, 70% are women. When it comes to the family, 70% are women.
The bar is still open.
So the thing is, it's incumbent upon black men to step up to the plate. Right? They have to step up to the plate to make the difference.
All right.
To make a difference.
Next month.
So does your book address that issue?
Yes, it does.
In what capacity?
It addresses the issue that the role of the black man and the things that the black man wants to do in order to be an intricate part of the black family. Again, because if the black man is not an intricate part of the black family, then we cannot move forward as a nation.
So how does the book...
I just gotta go. Thank you. My wife already have your book.
Okay.
She said she forgot bringing it up to have you signed, but that's okay. We'll see another time.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks for the presentation. Wonderful.
Does your book address or assist the female reader to foster this esteem or self-esteem in the black brother?
Yes. I address both from the black man's side and the black woman's side. I address what the black woman needs to do in order to cultivate the right relationship with the black man.
Well, on that note, I would say it's definitely a privilege and a pleasure always to speak to an individual who from the community that is empowering the community from inside. Because, if we do not have that, we're going to have an implosion. And when you have an implosion, then we are of no value to each other. So I applaud you. I would call you doctor, but I'm not an institution to bestow doctorship upon you. So I encourage you to continue doing the good work, and I hope that you will come out with more information that will again empower those who need the empowerment. There are individuals are saying black theology is what needs to be taught and things like that. and definitely I do agree with that. But there are some of us who already understand who we are and do not need the black theology. But for those of us who need our image to be built, I would say grab one of Dr. Hibbert's book and and just enjoy the read and empower yourself. And if you're a black man who, again, with a sister who has a higher educational etiquette or degree more than you, I would ask you to have her read one of Dr.
Both of them need to read the book.
Read the book together. So you take care now, and